Speaks Live. Welcome back to another one. Tell the truth here. Don't care if it make them uncomfortable. It ain't our fault. Yo, but Smarling Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Yeah, it's truth over comfort, I don't pick no side. If it shake the room a little, let the truth collide. Cause it's Marlon Speaks Live. No script, no disguise. I don't sell no lies, just to monetize. Cause the past still breathing and it never dies. Yeah, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Now the truth will rise. Yo, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Welcome back. Another episode of Marlon Speaks Live. Hopefully y'all had a great holiday, yesterday I chilled, relaxed. You gotta sleep some of that. You gotta relax, man, after all that food. So hopefully y'all relaxed like I did yesterday. Didn't do too much. I know we in the weekend now, holiday weekend. Hope y'all didn't party too much. Y'all didn't do too much partying, and if so, y'all gonna have to dry out today. So yeah, man, it's crazy. I'm looking on my timeline, and I think I seen a little bit of this the other day, but I was not aware of the exact details. And so this morning, got to scrolling on YouTube, and I see what I'm about to share. And this right here, this is very close to my heart because these are all melanated people that look like me. And it's just sickening to see what I'm about to show y'all. But check this out, man. This right here, I got a video from one of my favorite channels, The Family. He always cover things like this. And yeah, so him and I got another clip that I'm gonna show. Then I'm gonna come back, give y'all my full breakdown of how I seen all of this and put it all into my perspective. All right, check it out.
That's a grown ass man. Somebody got shot.
To nothing. No information. No nothing. Still no information. It's like it's sad. I just don't understand. Nobody is relaying any information. Christmas, whether it be Thanksgiving, it's right in the middle. Then he would have been here in 2 days for winter break. 2 days. 2 days.
The father accused of shooting 2 students on Kentucky State University's campus last week, killing one of them, will now face a grand jury.
Fam, these 2 parents were just released from jail a day after Christmas. They was arrested the day before Christmas after taking actions into their own hands, getting the news that the man responsible for killing their 18-year-old child on college campus was free. But it might not be for the reasons you might think. Now, before we get into this story, the day after Christmas, I hope everybody was able to get some love. And if you did celebrate, I hope you got to spend time with your family, your loved ones, and stay in the spirit of giving and sharing. But fam, today I wanted to bring you guys a story that won't take too much time, but definitely needs our attention. Going to college is supposed to be a major accomplishment, not just in the urban community, but in life, period. Recently, a father ended up taking the life of an 18-year-old after his son was allegedly being jumped on college campus, right outside of a dorm room. We're talking about 20 plus students, metal bats, kicks, punches on a full attack. But here's where things get even more complicated. The father appeared to be released after the incident, and because of that, some people connected to the victim reportedly reacted in ways that later led to their own arrest. So in this video, we're going to go through the situation step by step, pay our respects to the victim, break down what happened, where it happened, and talk about what we as a community can learn from something like this to prevent in the future. But before we get into this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to jump right to it. Then a sophomore at the university was 19-year-old Caden Bard. He was the son to 48-year-old Jacob Bard. They was from Evansville, Indiana. Now, Caden family asked for his picture not to be released to the public at this moment. He's been having some hard times during his sophomore year on a campus. Caden told his parents he'd been getting harassed, robbed while on campus. And one day his parents just decided to go up there and be between a violent fight with 20 plus students or young men was fighting his son, harassing him in details we'll later explain from his attorney that end up turning deadly. Now, of course, fam, I tried for the last 2 days to show this video and try to have some edited out. YouTube wasn't going for it, so I'll leave the link in the bio for you guys to check it out on the Family TV Instagram. In that video, it shows moments Dejon Fox, a student, shot and killed while on campus, just 19 years old, also from Indiana. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family. Speaking of family, we'll later hear from his family. Less than 24 hours they went to the news to speak on this situation. But let's go over the details of what led up to this. Now, Caden's dad, Jaden, ended up getting arrested, but the law firm of Danks and Danks had been retained to defend Jacob Byrd for his actions in defense of his son, his wife, and himself on December 9, 2025, when the situation took place at Kentucky State University. The Franklin County Commonwealth Attorney will convey a grand jury on December 23, 2025, which will later elaborate on that decision to consider indicting an innocent man, according to his attorney, Jacob Byrd, for murder. Not only was Jacob Byrd completely justified under the law in use of his deadly force that day, but according to his attorney, Jacob also took every reasonable step to alert Kentucky State University and the Kentucky State University Police Department of the imminent danger his sons and other students were in. Also, according to the attorney family, Jacob Byrd and his wife, alongside their sons that day on December 9, 2025, felt that the only course of action was to withdraw from the university for the son's safety and request a police escort to remove their son's property due to the imminent threat of danger they faced. Despite having two armed Kentucky State University officers present, a group of 20 to 30 individuals gathered in the lobby of their son's dormitory to violently and viciously attack Jacob Byrd's son and family. Many of these individuals were not students of the university and wore ski masks, hoods, and otherwise concealed their faces. Watching the mob gather, Jacob Byrd armed himself with his white firearm. Jacob kept his family away from the dormitory until a KSU police officer escorted the family to the dormitory. Upon the officer and Byrd family reaching the entrance, the mob immediately rushed out of the dormitory, past an armed KSU police officer, and began violently assaulting Jacob's family and others present.
Look, I'm gonna stop this right here. Now look in the background. You see that police cruiser? These are like animals. And I really hate to say that about our people. We are God. We are God in the flesh. We are made in God's image. Without us, there wouldn't be no other people. And y'all act like dogs, the exact opposite of God. Look at this. Acting like some damn dogs. And this is something I just can't condone. I refuse. I have never condoned it. You know, the crazy thing about my kids, when they was little kids especially, and even now that they're adults, people always say when my kids in the room, like at family gatherings and, just, out and about, they don't even realize my kids are there. They so quiet. I remember being in the mall and walking through the mall. A lot of people like, man, why your kids so quiet? Like, it's like, why yours are not? Like, what? It's something happened like very drastically within the last couple generations in our community here in America, where bad kids are. See this how it works. When you tell your kids they are bad when they're young, they want to be the worst. When you tell your kids it actually worked the other way. You tell them they good, they want to be good. They want to be the best. They don't just want to be good, they want to be the best. So I'm willing to bet that these kids right here were raised by parents that always told them, you so bad, you so bad, you bad. Look at that. They doing this in front of a police cruiser. This is ridiculous.
And his family retreat approximately 40 feet while being physically attacked until his son was slammed into the concrete and had multiple people on top of him beating his head against the pavement with feet and fists. The police officer on the scene had completely lost control of the situation. While Jacob and his wife ran towards their son, the officer was retreating further from the...
And this is also a result of, in the school system when I was growing up, teachers could paddle you, principals could paddle you. You could get your butt toe up at school for cutting up. I'm 48. They stopped that when I was 10. 38 years ago, they took the paddle out of the school. 38 years ago. So if, I would say the last group that probably remember getting paddled, they had to have been about 43. So most of these kids, they're in their young, late teens, early 20s. Most of their parents are in their 30s. They never got paddled. They don't even know. That's why I said the last couple generations within our community, it has been a complete reversal in the schools. These kids go to school, they don't think nothing gonna happen to them. So this is the result of that. Sickening, man.
Erupting violence. In the chaos, Jacob tried to physically pull the individual off his son, was struck, and when he was unable to do so, and seeing his son in imminent danger, serious physical injury, Jacob then drew his firearm and shot two individuals where they actively and viciously beaten his son. Jacob immediately dropped the weapon when his son was able to escape the violence. While surrendering to the police at gunpoint, Jacob was violently kicked in the face by an individual involved in the assault against his family. Because of that, Jacob's attorney felt his action was justified under the law and were the only measures to prevent his son's death or serious injuries. They feel Kentucky State University and Kentucky State University police failed to address multiple armed violent felonies, including burglary, breaking and entering, physical assault, and attempted assault with a deadly weapon against Jacob's son and other students in days leading up to December 9, 2025. Those failures ultimately resulted in the tragic death of one of the students and the injury of many others. Even now, despite the many known identities of students and others involved in the vicious attack in the days prior, criminal charges have not been pursued against those individuals. The mother, who you will later hear from, of the deceased, according to the attorney, has openly called the murder of Jacob's son for revenge, requested the help of criminal gangs including the Vice Lord's criminal gang, and yet no criminal charges have been filed against her. Jacob and his family continue to receive credible death threats, and Jacob's sons are now residing in a non-disclosed location for their safety. The lawyers say the Bars have two sons, ages 18 and 19, that were enrolled at Kentucky State University. Both sons chose Kentucky State University to play baseball. Each of Mr. Barr's sons were high school honor students, well-behaved, athletically talented. Each of the Barr sons were selected for homecoming king for their respective graduation class. Kentucky State University and campus police, with that non-students and non-residents alike will freely go in and out of the residence halls where they had no right to be. The younger Bar's dorm room was burglarized on or about October 11, 2025. An organized group pulled the dormitory fire alarm and used fire extinguishers to disable the security cameras. Jacob's son reported the crime to the assigned resident assistant and to the campus police. After reporting the crime, he immediately began receiving death threats, physical violence, and threats that he'll later die. At least one of the students involved in the threats and assaults had previously had a firearm seized while on campus, and yet continued to openly post on social media that he continued to carry modified firearms capable of firing fully automatics. On Saturday, December 6, 2025, Jacob's son was in a dorm with 15 to 20 individuals, many of them non-students and their faces concealed, broke in and violently assaulted him and 3 other students that were with him. The 4 were thrown to the ground and stomped and punched repeatedly. The assailants destroyed hundreds of thousands of property, including a school-issued laptop. This crime was reported to the resident assistants and to the KSU police and was captured by
Sound like some hating ass kids. What you doing at a college and you not a student? What the hell is you doing at a college and you not a student? KSU. Like we gonna go into that school also, because I never really heard of the school. Just did a little search on my phone that it's a historically black school, but I never heard of it. Kentucky State, I've heard of Kentucky, the University of Kentucky, but I never heard of Kentucky State. So yeah, it's kind of like TSU in Tennessee, historically black college.
University security cameras. On Monday, December 8, 2025, Jacob Barr's younger son was again in his dorm room when around 20 to 30 individuals gathered outside the dorm room with baseball bats and other weapons. The group beat on the door with baseball bats, leaving visible marks on the door. Jacob's son called the resident assistance and KSU police. One officer responded to the mob, and upon officers arriving, the mob fled. No arrests were made, and this was also captured on camera security cameras. That evening, Jacob's son called Jacob, stating that he had been attacked multiple times and that he and his friends were afraid to leave the room. Upon receiving the information, Jacob Bard and his wife immediately drove to KSU, arriving around midnight. Upon arriving, they discovered their sons and several other students had not eaten a meal in several days because they were afraid to leave their dorm rooms. Mr. Bard and his wife took the group of young men to eat and were more fully informed of their safety concerns. The next morning, December 9, 2025, Mr. Bard and his wife met with campus police at 9 a.m. Although Bars believed the campus police officers were sincere, it also seemed obvious to them that the campus police were ill prepared to deal with the out of control and violent environment of the university. A meeting was then scheduled for the same morning at 11 a.m. at Young Hall with the university dean and campus police. During this meeting, the Bars became convinced that the university would not be able to maintain a safe environment for their sons and informed the university that they were moving him home due to extreme safety concerns. The Bar family, accompanied with the campus police officer, approached the younger son's room and 4 individuals were outside waiting for him. The officer ordered everyone away and remained in the hallway of the son's dormitory for a period of time. The officer left at one point, and during this time, one of the individuals involved in a prior assault was in the building and began taking photographs of Jacob's sons. A physical altercation ensued, and in the elevator with Jacob's sons and this individual, Jacob's son immediately exited the elevator and called KSU police. Upon exiting the elevator, other individuals who had been involved in prior attacks on Barr's son were now in the lobby, despite the assurance of the university that these individuals would no longer be allowed in the building. These individuals again photographed the Barr's family with their phones and began making threats. Over the next 10 to 20 minutes, while placing their son's belongings in the family's vehicle, the Barr's family saw numerous individuals who had also been involved in prior attacks arriving and running to join the other individuals in the dormitory lobby area. Many of these individuals were wearing hoodies and or ski masks. Jacob and his family waited until a second officer arrived and were given further assurances of their safety. Despite the assurances of the KSU police officers and his escorts to the building entrance, the mob viciously attacked the Barr's family. Jacob Barr was given no option but to use necessary deadly force to protect his sons, his wife, and himself from seriously bodily injury or death. And that, fam, thanks to the attorney, is what's being left out for the public to have, which make a broader situation more concerning. How many other students away from home, living on campus, going through similar situations? But now you know everything that led up to this. I want you guys to check out the victim's family a day after the attack.
It's funny and very, very outgoing.
He was like the class clown. He would get on your nerves being funny. Like, he was always trying to make you laugh. If he walked in a room full of people that were not too cheery, when he leave, you'll be cheery. You'll be laughing and everything. I thought he was going to be a comedian.
Where did he go to high school? Around here?
He went to Victory College Prep.
And he graduated last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. How did he pick KSU as the school that he wanted to attend?
He went down there and it was at HBU and HBCU, I'm sorry, and it was
Something that he thought
it
he
was
would like.
it wasn't no turning back after that. He was in love. He found his place.
And what was he studying down there?
He hadn't really decided yet. He was just doing general studies for now.
He was in his second year.
Yeah. Did he come home for Thanksgiving at all, or was he?
Yeah.
Yes.
We just made a video of me picking him up and holding him. It was a TikTok trend, and that was last week.
I mean, waking up this morning and knowing that he's, not going to be coming home ever again, that must just be a nightmare for all of you.
It's still not real. It's like we're not accepted it yet. Like it's not real. It hasn't hit yet, but it's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. It just hasn't hit yet.
How did you guys learn about the shooting yesterday?
He got a cousin that go there, and he called.
And she called me.
What was it like getting that call?
The worst news you could ever get in your life. It's like it's still the worst. Like
Especially since he was so far. It wasn't like just driving 30 minutes or 20 minutes to the hospital. It wasn't nothing I could do for almost 3 hours, but just think and scroll on my phone and think and scroll on my phone.
we all immediately got together, drove up there, 3 or 4 carloads to nothing. No information, no nothing, still no information. It's like it's sad. I just don't understand. Nobody is relaying any information. Like we don't understand.
It's like the authority was up there, wasn't doing their job at all. No, they not gonna give them no information because they know that they are culpable. They are partly responsible for what happened. They didn't do no investigation. They could have nipped all of this in the bud by addressing all of that previous all them previous crimes and violations that happened before this incident.
The school, nobody.
I mean, driving up there and not getting to say goodbye, I mean, that must be a hard thing to live with.
They didn't even
Very
let
hard.
me see him.
We couldn't see him. No, nobody's seen him yet.
I still haven't got to see him.
The police wasn't saying too much. The school, nothing. It's just like it ain't like we can just keep coming up here. We live way 3 hours away, and basically they told us just come back tomorrow. Come back tomorrow.
What was it like driving back here, you know, again, just not having a lot of information, not getting able to see him and knowing that he's never going to be back here?
Very frustrating and disturbing.
What are you guys holding on to in this time? I know you mentioned you just made a video with him. I'm sure, you know, maybe pictures or videos are helping you guys hold on to the memories that you had with him.
Videos, pictures, thinking about, remember when he did this, remember what happened this day, just whatever
Just
we can
having
find.
everybody that he loved around.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
All his friends.
Just
All his brothers. Everybody was
memories.
here.
Family.
Everybody came and stayed the night. It was people sleep everywhere.
Yeah, we all laid in here like everywhere last night.
as family do.
That's really, I know, as we were driving up here, I'm like, I'm guessing it's the house with all the cars in front of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing to have that kind of love and that kind of support. How many siblings do you have?
2.
Is he oldest, youngest?
That's his big brother right there. And he had a little baby brother. I think he's 2.
What do you hope people remember about your son or can learn from, you know, how he lived his life and just how he impacted the people around him?
I just hope, you know, stay joyful, smile. Like, life ain't that hard. He always used to be like, Ma, you need to loosen up. Jeez. Like, I guess life is what you make it. He didn't let a lot of stuff bother him.
At all. And if he left, he say, bye, I love you. If you don't say nothing back, wherever you at, he's coming. He gonna say, did you hear me? You heard me. I said, bye, I love you. Give me a hug. See you. Love you, mama.
So that's fairly common within any community. You know, you raise your kids a certain way, they act a certain way in front of you. As soon as they leave the house, they might have a totally different alter ego. I remember I'm guilty of that, you know, and I think we all guilty of that, you know, being in front of our parents, we try to, you know, play this role like good kids, and our parents don't know what we be into when we leave the house. Soon as we leave the house, you know, we could turn into a totally different person. So that seems to be the case here with that young man. You know, he always, you know, left good impressions on his mother and his family, but apparently they caught him on camera trying to terrorize this, you know, this family there at that school in college. So it shows you, you know, you could do all the things right as a parent, man. That peer pressure is real. Some of these kids, a lot of these kids, they don't know how to handle it. I remember growing up in my era, you had a lot of crack babies or a lot of people who mothers was on crack. They wasn't crack babies, but you know, we was born in the 70s. There wasn't no crack then. But a lot of my peers' parents ended up on crack, right? When we was about 7, 8, 9 years old. And so it was so many of them, they outnumbered the kids who had good parents, a lot of my peers, at least one of their parents was on it, right? Was on crack. You know, so I would say out of all of my kids, probably like half and half, or a little bit under half that parents wasn't on. But it was a nice percentage of my peers' parents that ended up on drugs. And you could tell how things changed from maybe the second, third grade to the fourth or fifth grade. And, you know, these kids, they started to act out. And so when they started to act out, they started to influence the kids who like, I had good parents, but all of these bad kids were the popular kids, and they started to influence us good kids. So even though I still acted good when I was at home, when I go to school, I felt like, as that peer pressure is real, you know, I felt like I had to sag my pants a little bit. I felt like I had to talk a certain way, walk a certain way to fit in, you know, with the popular kids. Because all the kids wasn't like that. Like I said, majority of us had good parents, you know. So, but it was still like, I just felt like I needed to be with the influential bad kids a little bit. You know, I stayed kind of like in the middle. I be with the good kids. As I got older, I found my way, and I figured out that I can be with all the kids. I didn't have to pick a side. And I pretty much, you know, hang with the bad kids some days, hang with the good kids some days. But primarily, I created my own little thing where I accepted everybody, you know, into my little fraternity, my little group of guys that I hung with. So I had a wide range of people within my little group when I was in high school. It wasn't just all bad kids, wasn't all good kids. It was a combination. And so, yeah, and I knew not to hang out with the bad kids. I knew not to go to parties and be with them. I knew that much. Like, I couldn't hang out with them outside of school. So, yeah, it seemed like this young man lived a double life, and his parents didn't know how that life, you know, what that life entailed until it was too late. And it's sad, you know, it's real sad seeing his mother cry over her son that, you know, she only knew as being a good boy.
In the love. He was loved. Remember that.
Very much. He was like the comedian of the family. The
Everybody
one,
love Whit.
if he was here right now, everybody be laughing, or they'd be like, Whit, stop, quit. Whit, go sit down. He was just the comedian, the bring everybody together to laugh. He was just that person. That person. That person.
I know you mentioned a little bit. Can you just talk about how surreal this is to, you know, not have him here with you?
I don't think it's really hit her. It hasn't hit her yet. It really hasn't hit any of us. It's like a daze, a fog. Like, it's still not real yet. It's not real.
All right, let's because this video gonna be real long. Let's go a little bit to here.
He wasn't outside. He was in college. He didn't want that life. I miss my son. I want him back. I would do anything to take his place. He just got his first 3 underarm hair. Laugh out loud. He had life to live. My Whitty was my baby, my sunshine, my highlighter on a rainy day. And then she wrote, PSA, for all you B's, keep commenting saying my baby was a bully. B, you heard it out his mouth. My baby wasn't an innocent bystander. B's, eat a D and keep Lil Fox name out y'all mouth. Less than a week ago, she wrote, I swear I'm about to crash the F out. The dad wrote, life is not life at all. On the way home from Kentucky after I lost my baby, me and my wife and my sister got into a crazy car accident. Now my other son just got into a car accident. He is okay, but still, man, like what the F is going on? Then he wrote a message tagging the university. Y'all a piece of y'all still haven't released a statement to clear my son's name. Y'all let students go into his dorm and steal all this stuff and still haven't called me with the hallway footage. Frankly, anything could have happened on that campus. Me and my family, about 10 of us, casually walked into the dorm hall and instantly gained access to his room through other students. Nobody questioned us or give a fuck that we was mobbing through the dorm hallways and taking stuff out. The president don't know about what's going on his campus, and he definitely not qualified for the job. He lacks empathy, he is ugly, he wears cheap cologne, and he don't look people in the face while talking. Haven't offered any of them students any support for the tragedy they are facing. That's cool. And everything about that, yes, man. Ain't even sent my son a flower arrangement or nothing. Man, the way I'm up here feeling right now, then he went to Facebook and wrote something else that would later get him arrested. Finding out the day before Christmas that the grand jury chose not to indict his son's shooter, Jacob Bard. He wrote on Facebook, you don't know what you took from me, but you will feel the same hurt I feel. And apparently, that was enough for him to get arrested alongside his wife, Chardonnay Cleveland to the left, and the John Fox Sr.
University president is responding.
Man, I be feeling like that when I see these tragic police shootings, you know. But it's never smart to post none of this kind of stuff. You can't post everything you feel, man, and that's the thing. Like, dang, man, dang. This is like, you know, a triple tragedy now. You know, you got one son, their son dead. Now they arrested 2 on top of that. You know what I mean? So you dealing with grief, and losing your freedom is grief as well. So that's grief on top of grief. Man, it's a sad situation to see. And I got, well, I guess we could just watch it here.
After a grand jury chose not to indict the father, who's accused of shooting 2 people at the university and killing a student. Jacob Lee Baird claimed self-defense. Bard is currently out of the Franklin County Jail. His family had just posted a $100,000 bond right before the grand jury met, but they chose not to indict Bard on murder charges or first-degree assault charges. Bard's attorneys argue he acted in self-defense following days of escalating threats and violence directed at his son and other students. His attorneys allege a group of people attacked his family when they entered the campus building. During the confrontation, Bard's son was knocked to the ground and beaten, prompting Bard to fire his weapon. The shooting resulted in the death of one student, 19-year-old Dejan Fox, and injuries to another student. The attorneys say the decision closed the criminal case. KSU President Dr. Kafia Kakpo released a statement saying, in part, quote, "This development does not lessen the pain our community continues to feel, nor does it change our priorities. Our commitment remains centered on supporting our students and ensuring Kentucky State University is a safe place to learn, live, and work."
I know that was kind of a lot, but try to give as much detail as possible. Based on everything you just heard, fam, it's time for y'all to let me know how y'all feel about this one in the comments. This was the story of 2 brothers who was getting harassed while on campus for days, not leaving a dorm room, not to eat, not to shower, in fear for their lives, until ultimately their parents coming to get them, withdraw them from the university, leaving them to be ambushed in the process, having the dad be forced to retreat, his wife firearm, killing one of the teenagers responsible. And now it seems that he's been free after being arrested, having the state choose not to indict him. But the parents of the victim gets arrested and released on less than a $2,000 bond. the day after Christmas for threats. Talk to me in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then,
All right, yeah, check this out too.
New details are emerging from the investigation into the tragic shooting at Kentucky State University earlier this month. WDRB's Dalton Godby tells us the parents of the student who was killed were arrested and now face felony charges for intimidation.
It was nearly 3 weeks ago.
Why was this even able to happen? Why was this even something that could have happened?
When a shooting at Kentucky State University killed a student and injured another person on campus.
This is not okay. It happened on campus. Multiple people saw it. Like, this is where we live.
It's just sad that it happened, honestly.
Dejon Fox Jr. was the student killed in that shooting. And now his parents, Dejon Fox Sr. and Chardonnay Cleveland, are facing felony charges for intimidating Jacob Bard, the man accused of the shooting. Court records show threatening social media posts from both parents after their son's death, including this one, where Fox wrote that Bard would feel the same hurt I feel on a photo of his mugshot. In a deleted post, Cleveland reportedly wrote, quote, "I want his son dead, just like mine," end quote.
I ain't gonna lie. When I see, especially like Trayvon Martin, that's how I felt. If I was the parents of Trayvon, I wouldn't have wanted nobody to protest. Don't go out in the streets protesting. And I don't care about no job, no police keeping his job. I wouldn't care about none of that. If that was my son, right? Just like what that mother said. That's how I feel. But I would never put it online. I just go do it. Just go do it, man. No talking. Just don't put it on social media. Nah, don't do that.
Bard was the suspect in the December 9th shooting on the K-State campus that left Fox Jr. dead and another student critically injured. But his attorney said he was completely justified in using deadly force, citing that Bard and his wife were at KSU to move their sons back home because they were concerned about safety. The attorneys say the family was attacked by 20 to 30 people wearing ski masks and hoods when Bard used his wife's gun. He was initially charged in the case, but a Franklin County grand jury recently declined to indict him, accepting a claim that he acted in self-defense. Following the arrest of the victim's parents, Bard's attorneys told WDRB in a statement, quote, "Violence and calls for violence will not be tolerated," end quote. Fox and Cleveland were released from custody. They appeared in court Friday afternoon as a community and the university are still reeling from what happened.
Our students need prayers. Kentucky State University need prayers.
Dalton Godby, WD.
Y'all see that? Right, that's an African, right? So he's not a part of our community. So I don't think, yeah, that's the root of the problem. Yeah, right there. Yeah, right there, that man right there. Let me see. Kofi Kofi, here, I'm gonna pull this back so y'all can see his name. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put my man, I don't know why I was doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna put this on the other side. Dr. Kofi Akinpo. I guess that's how you pronounce it. So yeah, this is an African. He is the KSU president, and obviously, for all of this kind of stuff to be happening on that campus, he cannot be concerned with safety at all. And like what we've been saying, especially on my channel, and all of the other FBAs, us slave Americans, us descendant of slaves here in this country, these Africans and all these other melanated people in the world, they don't really understand what's going on in our culture. We have to be extra proactive in our culture here in America. We have to like stand on preventing things like this from happening. Like literally, we cannot afford. We can't afford to react to certain things. We have to be proactive. So this African president of KSU, it's a prime example of what we say. You know, the people that come to this country and don't even understand our culture. I bet he hate. I mean, I can't just say he do, but I'm sure he got a strong dislike for our culture over here, for that kind of stuff in our culture anyway. You know, and our within our culture, that's, you know, when you see crimes being committed, you know, that ain't nothing to dismiss. That's something you have to address before it ends up being a situation like that. And that's something people in our culture understand. We have to get on top of stuff like this when things like that happen.
Dalton Godby, WDRB News.
New details are emerging.
Yeah, so that's pretty much, you know, the whole of how this tragic event ended up being. But this is what I wanted to add to it, you know, in conclusion. You know, you got a lot of different moving parts here. You know, first of all, you got young kids at school, young kids at college. You know, in general, kids go off to school. They're going to experiment. They're going to be doing things that they wouldn't normally have done, you know, in front of their parents. You know, it's their first time being away from home, you know, extended periods of time. And for the most part, this is kind of like where they start to come into their own, right? So what I seen on that with the fight and the parents, like it was like mob mentality. And what that is you might have a bunch of followers join in on something like this to where they just think it's fun. They think it's cool. They don't understand the severity of what's going on. It seemed to me that's what the little key or what's Dijon, that's what he was involved. That's what it seemed to me. He was one of those type of kids. Seemed like he was a good kid and maybe just could have been at the wrong place at the wrong time because the parents said that he was an innocent bystander. So that's plausible as well, right? You know, you getting jumped, you don't know who fighting you or not, right? So, but I do know when that young man kicked the parent in the chest as he was kneeling, that guy should be convicted of something. Because that man was defenseless. So that whole thing, it just seemed to be a big melee. But they said it was a lot of kids that wasn't even students. So I'm guessing, they said that's in the city of Frankfort, Kentucky. I'm guessing that's one of the biggest things in that city, you know, that college. So I'm sure it's a community surrounding that college, just like in Nashville where TSU is surrounded by a black community, right? So yeah, you're gonna have a lot of different people interacting with them students. So yeah, it's just a sad set of circumstances that led to this that to me could have been prevented. You know, look, let me know what y'all think, man. This being the holidays, you know, when I see anything within our community, the Black American community, the FBAs, the descendants of slaves, we are us, right? And it's just sad to see things like this happening. But like I said earlier, you know, this stems from a couple generations of no accountability. Like, you know, you better not touch my baby. You know, at the school, all these parents, you know, black mothers coming up there, don't touch my baby. You know, you better not, don't look at my baby wrong. And my baby ain't never done nothing wrong. And, you know, a lot of that within our community leads to these kids growing up and becoming, you know, when you see them on camera doing the stuff that they doing, they're monsters. You like, damn, You know, how did that end up being? He was a good kid at home. Well, when you don't correct them and don't allow others to correct them outside of the home, this is what ends up happening, or can and will happen. You know, y'all let me know what y'all think, man. I'm gone. I'm out of here. I'll be back with more. I got one coming up soon, real soon, about well, I ain't even gonna tell y'all, man. I'm just out. Yeah. Marlon Speaks Live. Welcome back to another one. Tell the truth here. Don't care if it make them uncomfortable. It ain't our fault. Yo, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive. Yeah, it's truth over comfort, I don't pick no side. If it shake the room a little, let the truth collide. Cause it's Marlon Speaks Live. No script, no disguise. I don't sell no lies, just to monetize. Cause the past still breathing and it never dies. Yeah, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Now the truth will rise. Yo, it's Marlon Speaks Live. Yeah, I'm saying what they hide. History uncensored, let the real survive.